Hey guys, Scott Jones with Jones Cattle Service here with another tips and video on nutrition and feed programs. So consistency, that's the big C word today that we want to talk about. Consistency of your schedule and your feed programming, your feed consistency. So first of all, guys, these animals, they like consistency. They like a schedule and to stick to schedule, just like kids do. Believe it or not, kids would not admit that, but even parents, everybody usually performs better if they have a schedule and they know what to expect, and they just perform better with that. So my first advice to you would be, make sure and pick a time that is convenient for you, that is as close to 12 hours apart. So like, maybe you feed at 6 in the morning, at 6 at night, or 7 and 7, or whatever. We always fed our calves at 6:30 in the morning, and we fed our 6 or 6:30. I can't remember. It's been so long since I had kids. And then we always fed them around 5 or 6 in the evening, usually 5 in the winter and 6 in the summertime. And stick to that as much as possible. These cattle will perform and they will eat and consume feed better if you stick to that schedule. If you feed at 5 in the morning and 7 in the morning and 11 on Sundays, and those calves are not going to perform as well. They're not going to consume feed consistently and as heartily as that you want them to. So my rule of thumb is always never 30 minutes on either side. So if we feed at 6 o'clock in the evening, we try to feed somewhere between 5:30 and 6:30 if we have something going on. We don't have anything going on, it's 6 o'clock every single day. I mean, that's what we do. And because it's important, it's the little things that make a difference in this show world. And so it's important that we do that. Now, I will tell you, I know things come up. You've got kids playing baseball or softball or volleyball or soccer or whatever, band. Things are going to happen, and you're going to have a choice. I would prefer to feed early than late, because if you feed early, they're going to be all right. They're going to get fed, and they're not going to stress over it. If you feed late, those cattle are stressing. Just think, if I eat dinner at lunch at 12 o'clock every day, come about 11:45, I'm starting to get hungry. And so that's what they're doing. So if you're feeding at 6 p.m. every day, and all of a sudden it's 7:30, those animals are like hungry for an hour and a half because they're used to eating at 6 o'clock. So try to feed on that consistent schedule. Also, the second thing to be consistent with is the consistency of your feed. My first advice would be, don't buy more than a 10-day supply of feed from your feed dealer. Another advice on that was, communicate with your feed. I hear people all the time, well, my feed dealer runs out of feed. Well, if you communicate with them, hey, I got 4 calves in the barn, this is how much we're eating, how much they're eating, I will be buying X amount of feed, X many bags of feed every 10 days. And if you buy another calf, tell them, hey, I'm buying another calf, I'm going to now change it to this amount. If you communicate with that feed dealer, they will do a better job of keeping you in stock and not letting you run out. And they will appreciate you, and they probably will make sure they got feed for you all the time. So also, most people, not everybody, but most people will mix feed ingredients. It is super important that every time you put 4 or 5 ingredients in a bucket, when you pour that in the feed pan for your calf, it is super important that you mix that up thoroughly. I know a lot of kids just dump it in there and, oh well, they'll get layers of feed. I will tell you, there's some of those ingredients they like better than others. And so if you mix it up super good, your goal is for that animal, every bite it tastes the same as the next bite. Because there's some ingredients that are higher in palatability, and what that means is it tastes better, right? So if they all of a sudden get some that are lower in palatability, and they're going to quit eating, they're like, ooh, that didn't taste good, I'm stopping. Whereas if you mix it up super good, the good's in with the bad, and therefore it's a more consistent feeding that they're consuming, and it's probably a higher palatability across the board if you do that. So make sure you feed on time, twice a day. There are some people that feed once a day. I'm not a big believer in that. I believe in twice a day. And so and then also make sure that it's consistent. And the way to help you with that consistency is also to make sure you have fresh feed and communicate with your feed dealer on that, and it'll help you with that as well. If you look at the bottom of the bag, every feed company puts a date code on the bottom of the bag. Purina's, it just flat out tells you the date it was made. I know Nutrena, when I worked for Nutrena, it was, I believe, reverse order. So day 365 was January the 1st. Day one, I mean, if it had a 1 on it, was December 31st. And so find out what the date code is. And then that way, when you pick up feed, everybody in my family knew when we pick up feed, we check the date code. If that date code was, if that feed was old, we didn't accept it. You're going to be paying $20 to $25 for a bag of feed. You want that stuff fresh, so make sure and check the date code. So that's a bunch of tips for you. Push the follow button down there if you want to follow some more from Scott Jones with Jones Cattle Services. If you have any questions, drop them out there and I'll be sure to answer them for you. Y'all have a great day, and we'll see you next time.